every episode of bloody American Idol now, okay? Does that and all that kind of thing. And I was like, well, he's actually blind. I was watching and I was just like, he's feeling it and he can read it and he understands what it means, all that kind of thing. But now Shaq has come out and all that up for me. Seriously.
One of your childhood memories has just gone kaput.
Well, like, Stevie does the head wave like this. I know I'm going off a bit.
So did Ray Charles. Ray Charles did it better, I think.
Well, Ray Charles did it as well.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering whether or not we need to look. Even fellow music icon Lionel Richie believes the theories are true and explained his reasoning on the Kelly Clarkson show. Yeah, now that's where I need to get all my information is from a talk show that's hosted by Kelly Clarkson. I'm going to say that Stevie Wonder can see. As?
Well, I'm not going to go up against the big Aristotle. If Shaq says he can see, then he can see.
Phrase?
I reckon he's had a meeting with Milli Vanilli and they've just said, look, Stevie, just shut the up.
Loose talk, even looser opinions. The Burble.
Trump got impeached last week. Now, what does that mean, Az?
Well, it means that the House of Reps in the U.S. Legislative system has decided that he was found guilty of there was the things to do with the Ukraine and some other bits and pieces. So they've looked at all the evidence and some 600-page document about what's been going on. And after addressing that, they've had a vote through all the members of Congress and they've just gone, yep, you're guilty as
It's going to get defeated in the courts, though.
I think I'm not an expert on the American political system, but I believe from here it's going to go to the Senate, which is a Republican. Like the balance of the Senate is in the Republicans' favor, which they will almost certainly vote for Trump to be acquitted. So he won't actually be removed from office. But
and he's going to walk out of there with his sleeves rolled up.
Oh, man. If you say anything wrong about Donald Trump, the next thing you hear is the next the rest of the time he's going to be relevant will be the time that, do you remember that time that the Democrats impeached me and it didn't end up happening? Totally innocent, blah, 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 I told you so. It's just, it needs to be done, but if it doesn't work out, it's just going to be unbearable on Twitter for the rest of his term.
You just gave me an in. You say anything bad about Donald Trump. Ready? Quit. Sucker. What the is that hair you Phrase, jump in. The producer's just going to beep it, so just get it out of your system. Feel good, mate. Take the shirt off. Undo the pants.
You mouldy tanned scrotum. You week old orange.
We did have a production meeting before this recording, and I said you could say the word and you can say you're holding back.
I am holding back. For me, to read Donald Trump.
Fraser's got a higher opinion of himself, I think.
Oh, no.
Come back to the gutter. You went to high, brother.
You know what? I always thought that this whole thing with Donald Trump, I thought that it was like one of these jokes that just went on and on and on until finally it's the punchline. Yeah. And I thought this impeachment might have been the punchline.
You mean like Lamb Chop's Play Along? You know, it's a song that never ends.
It's a song that never... And then eventually it ends, but it ends with some sort of punchline. But by the time you get to the punchline, it's just not funny. And so he's got impeached. I thought, okay, that's fantastic. That's almost like maybe that was supposed to be the Christmas present I didn't get instead of the socks. But it looks like it's probably not enough just to give him the arse.
Yeah.
I would love just to give him the boot.
He's been bankrupt so many times. He's been done over so many times, and he just denies everything. Remember when he was running for president? And then all of a sudden these people just casting the debates and stuff, and here's Hillary, squeaky clean-ish. And then he's just doing this face, was nope, doing the pursed lips and all that kind of thing. What the is wrong with America? Do you know who runs America really? It's not the Republicans or the Democrats. It's the NRA. That's who runs it. That's it.
It's what are you, the Rothschilds and the Murdochs and all of your money. Money goes in. Money runs it. As long as the right money is in the right hands, then they don't care who's sitting in the White House.
Well, that's true. Now let's get to something stupid.
This is The Burble with Benny and Az.
Have you had to deal with pageants, Phrase? Have you had to do a pageant, like a school pageant?
No, not as such. I did one day run into a semi-pageant, which was for
a semi-pageant?
Well, it was for transvestites. In Myanmar, they had out at the back of a hotel and they were all dressed up. But it was a good, probably about 8 years ago, and they didn't quite know what they were doing.
Right.
And so,
did you learn the correct cock and balls tucking and taping
technique? Oh, I didn't get to see any of that going on. But from my own experience, I learned that years ago at theatre school.
Yeah.
Theatre
school.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Was it on the final exam? Here's the tape. Here's the cock and balls.
Go away.
Do it on the mannequin.
Go nuts. Yeah. But, that pageant wasn't a pretty sight, to be honest. It was a lot of bad makeup and a lot of just...
Did Mary have a...
Oh, probably a couple. There's a few freaks going on there. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what was going on. But anyway, tell us this story about the pageants. What's going on? What have you got on the news?
Well, this is bad news to finish off this podcast, but a youngster who was dressed as a sheep was immediately engulfed in flames as his dad shouted from the audience, "My son's on fire."
It would have been funny if he said, "My son's flaming."
Look, it was not due to his performance, although I'm sure the child was okay, but he was airlifted to hospital in South London where the children from St Thomas Becket Catholic Primary School had been performing. Now, he suffered serious burns and was described as being critical but stable. A man and a woman were also driven to hospital in relation to the incident. So basically, they got burnt in the situation. This is bad. This is pretty bad. But I'm getting to the funny part. A mother who was in the audience said the other child's sheep costume was one of those cheap ones and questioned whether it was safe before they'd gone on stage to perform said pageant.
Well, as soon as a mother says anything and thinks it's unsafe, then she goes, "I told you so."
Well, no, hang on a minute. Okay, so parents are making the choice. Let's flick your mind back to Halloween, even though you were not terra firma. There is so many cheap costumes, and I was about to say the country they came from, but you can all tell exactly what I'm saying. Those cheap costumes, they order them in because, let's face it, when it's book week, all of a sudden we've got Frozen, we've got Olaf and Elsa from Frozen. Now, they bring out a book to prove that they're from a book. No, they're from a movie. I want to see some characters from books.
Well, to be fair, all Disney characters are from books.
No, look,
Disney hasn't had an original thought in
do you know what I mean,
ever.
though? Like, dress up as something from a Roald Dahl book, okay, before they became TV shows, before they became characters or whatever, or cartoons and shit like that, right? No, come up with something like that. These lazy parents who throw an iPad at a child at age 2 to shut it up. Let's just order on the internet. Click, click, click. Here's my Visa number. Bye, bye, bye. Deliver, deliver, deliver. You get someone from a book. From a book. Do you have Book Week over there?
They do have Book Week over there. Yeah.
Are they from books or is it ordered from?
You get it from all sorts. Yeah, it's
a parent's. It's a teacher. Are parents lazy?
It's at my school that I'm at, it's actually a competition for the best costume that you can get. So
right.
You need to be looking. It's not just the costume.
But can
it's
you
the
see
makeup.
the ones that are bought though?
Oh, you can. There's plenty.
Do you mark them down? Like, I don't give a about your eBay delivery costume. Off.
Yeah, there's no originality going into them these days. I mean, most of them that I saw this
year
were Marvel characters.
I remember I dressed up once as Yahoo Serious, like young Einstein.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I had speakers on my hip. Do you remember when we went and no, you weren't with us, but we went and voted in the Kevin 07 election?
I drove you there.
You did, that's right. And we had working class man playing on Az's belt clip speakers.
Yep.
And then they wouldn't let us in because we were wearing bloody Kevin 07 shirts. They wouldn't let us in. Sour pusses. But the thing is, though, with these costumes, I'm sorry, I don't get it. Just make one. Don't order it off eBay, you slack tarts. Make one.
There is, yeah. I've got a golden rule. See, being the teacher that I am, I've got a golden rule. You either find it, borrow it, steal it, make it. The last resort, buy it. Very last resort.
Now, you've got a young daughter. How old's your daughter, Az?
She's 8.
Is she 8?
She's 8.
Wow. So she's 8 years old. Okay. Did you partake in Halloween this year?
Yes.
Did you buy it?
Yes, we did. It was.
So you've got a very capable grandmother. I know your mother, your child's grandmother, who could have made something. She made costumes for me and you for Star Wars premieres in the sequel trilogy that she made, which I still own, by the way. It needs an iron, but I still own it, right? But come on, why didn't you go, hey, Mum, make something for her? Make a costume for her from one of your father's books. He's a children's writer. Come on. What did you send her as?
It comes down. She went as Batman.
Oh, for sake. But you bought it, didn't you?
Yeah.
Where from?
Oh, I just got it from one of the costume shops in town.
Christ almighty. Where's the originality gone?
Well, tell me,
The originality is gone when the time isn't as exactly as plentiful.
Well, then
as I
don't
need.
have kids. If you haven't got time, don't have kids. Don't stick your in it, right? Just jerk off. Work for me.
Hey, tell me, when you get up onto the Mount Panorama, do you get people dressing up in costume there?
What do you mean?
Oh, I'm sure there's a couple of knobheads that go up there and go, hang on, I'm going to wear a Superman costume. That's going to go great.
Why would they be on Mount Panorama?
Oh, well, just because they're getting pissed and they're wearing costumes and stuff. Do you see people doing that?
No, I
or
don't.
Was it just dryzer bones and boots?
You mean during race time or just normal time at night?
During race time,
Why
obviously.
would you mean normal time?
Nobody's up there during
normal time. I was going to say they stopped opening the gates at the top of the mountain so that the Friday night between 9 and 10 o'clock at night wank doesn't happen. Like, I'll just give you a hand job and that's the date. Couldn't get into the cinemas. We didn't buy. Where are you going with that?
No, I meant during race weekend.
I have no idea what happens during race weekend. I know they hire hookers, and although it's different now because Craigslist is off, you don't have that no more.
Tinder now.
Hit us up on the socials at theburble.com.au.
I'm going to close this podcast by quickly saying we're available. We're going to have a break. We're going to have a break on the podcast because it's too hot in the studio, but we're on Apple iTunes on the podcast. You can also find us on Spotify. We're on iHeartRadio. To answer your question, Mount Panorama in the 60s, 70s, and maybe even the 80s at Bathurst, okay, probably was the spot to go for a hand job. But now they've got cameras and a limited place to park your vehicle, and I never got one.
You missed
You?
Maybe.
You?
I got offered one by a 40-year-old dude when I was about 19. I had to decline and run away really quickly. It was actually a scary. I was walking through the streets through Macadie Park at the time. I had to do a bit of a runner. No,
Hang on,
thanks.
How does that conversation go down? Just sort of walks up, oi. Want a hand,
You
Shandy?
look handy.
I don't know whether
You look handy in a sticky situation.
The bloke actually started going on. He goes, I get pretty horny sometimes. I bet you've got a bar right now. And I'm like, get and then
That's exactly what he wanted.
and I just highballed it straight over to the Eddie. I just did not look back and hope he didn't chase me. And got away. That was my got out of a sticky situation.
I lost my voice after that. Actually, I sound like the person going, I bet you got a bar right now.
You're bringing me back.
We'll be back in 2020 with the Burble. Thank you as number 2.
No worries. Always happy to be here, Benny.
Frase, it's always good to see you. And finally be on a podcast. We were planning to have you on the Skype or something like that, but you're here in the flesh, which is great.
Oh, mate, it's a fantastic opportunity, and it's been a pleasure to be here and to be with you guys.
I think this is going to be the longest podcast we've ever produced.
Oh, it was worth it.
Yeah. Final thing that I'm going to say is, ScoMo, you're a
Get.
Yeah, twat.
Is it over yet?
The answer is yes.
Oh, thank God for that. Hit us up on the socials and check us out at theburble.com.au. And don't forget to subscribe and share us with all your mates.
Thank you for sharing.
And here's the good news. Really? That's good news?
It's great news.
Here's the taste.
What's your order on the internet? Click, click, click. Here's my Visa number. Bye, bye, bye. Deliver, deliver, deliver.